Chinese authorities have reportedly warned crews to stay away from the Senkaku Islands to avoid further tension with Tokyo. It came as Japan said it would respond if Chinese fishing vessels returned to the waters around the disputed chain of islands after Beijing's summer fishing ban in the East China Sea expired on Sunday. Earlier this month, Japanese Defense Minister Taro Kono said his country's self-defense forces would act firmly when necessary if Chinese vessels intensified their activities around the Diaoyu Islands, which Japan controls and calls the Senkakus. The Senkaku Islands, all of which are uninhabited, have long been the cause of sour China-Japan ties. Sean King, Senior Vice President of Park Strategies in New York and an affiliated scholar at University of Notre Dame's Liu Institute, told Express.co.uk that the islands would likely be the single source of any armed conflict in the region. Japan is a pacifist country, a policy that was written into its constitution shortly after it surrendered as an imperial power then. In 1960, the U.S. officially committed itself to protecting Japan from any impending danger, this danger in decades past having taken the form of China. The Senkakus have long since been a point of contention, with both China and Japan laying historical claim to them. Japan currently controls the 8 landmasses, and it is widely thought that if China were to attempt to capture them, the U.S. would step in. However, as Mr. King explained, this isn't to say that the U.S. would be successful, as China would essentially have a home advantage. He said, the U.S. has 50,000 troops in Japan, most of whom are in Okinawa, which is nearby. It has 23,000 troops in South Korea who could be called on in case of contingency, and however many hours away the U.S. has more troops in Hawaii and Guam. So America's military power is still bigger than China's. Added to this is the fact we've got more wartime and experience, Iraq, Afghanistan, and everywhere else. But one problem is that we'd be fighting in China's backyard, not here. So China has the advantage of being on home turf almost, or at least almost on home turf. China would be fighting much closer to home, so they'd have an advantage there. I would think in a spat over the Senkaku Islands depending on the situation. I do think the U.S. would be in a position to defend Japan. U.S. intervention may not only be bound in its commitment to Japan. The islands are also key because they are close to shipping lanes, offer rich fishing grounds and lie near potential oil and gas reserves. They are also in a strategically significant position, amid rising competition between the U.S. and China for military primacy in the Asia-Pacific region. With the most recent reported move by China to steer clear of the islands, many have noted it coincides with worsening relations with the U.S. The Japanese news agency Kyodo has reported that Chinese fishing fleets have been told not to approach the Diaoyus after the ban is lifted. Fishing crews said they had been told by the authorities in the southeastern provinces of Fujian and Zhejiang not to come within 30 nautical miles, or 56 kilometers, of the uninhabited islets, the report said.